All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to IBM Developer Online Meetup. This is our fifth webinar with HERE Technologies, so you've probably seen our faces before if you've been attending this series. And this is our fifth with HERE Technologies, but our first in IBM Developer Series. And I'm very, very excited about this. As you can see on the screen, the team has put up, plans to put up different content on different days. So we have Cloud Native Thursdays, Data Science Fridays, which being a data scientist, I'm very excited about that. We have Red Hat OpenShift Saturdays, AI Sundays, and today being a Tuesday, we are going to talk about location. So thank you, team, for putting this up. Also, I have, as usual, our two experts from HERE Technologies, Vidhan and Mohammed. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey.
And hidden behind the green mask icon, we also have an IBM developer today with us here. Asana, hello.
Hi, Abkar. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure.
Great. So as usual, you'll get plenty of resources in this webinar, which we'll also send you in a follow-up email after the event is done. There was a question Alec is asking if the event will be recorded. So the answer is yes. As usual, you can come back to the same URL to see the recorded version and replay it. It generally becomes available a couple of minutes after we finish. So it's pretty quick. What else? Oh, yes, very important. If you want to be notified of future events that we do from IBM Developer, there's a little follow button on the top of your screen. So if you follow us on this Crowdcast platform, then you'll be notified when we go live, and you'll also be notified when we put new events up. For those of you who are new to IBM Developer, we are a team of developer advocates across the world. And we have been hosting a lot of events lately, as you probably already know. And hopefully in future we'll hold in-person events, but for now we do a lot of developer education online. So a couple of last guidelines for the event today. Feel free to use the chat functionality to say hello and discuss topics relevant to this meetup. I know quite a few of you are making friends in the chat section, as you come and attend these webinars. So that's amazing. There's also a ask a question button. So I see there's one question already there, but if the chat gets a little bit too chatty, for the lack of words, then you can use the ask a question button to ask a question, and the speakers keep an eye on that, as well as I will. All right, and then finally at the bottom of the screen, we have a survey link. So, take some time to provide feedback. It's really important for us to give you quality content and relevant content. And so please let us know how we're doing by answering the survey, which is, again, there's a button at the bottom of the screen. And I'll come back and remind you at the end to do that as well. But you can do it at any time. OK, I think with all of that being said, you're probably bored by now and want to really hear from our speakers. So I'll pass it over to Mohammed, is that you?
Yes.
Perfect. Take it over.
Yeah. So thank you, Afkar, for the introduction and welcome you all. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on your time zone. We have a lot of people coming from multiple locations, even within that call. So today we'll have more of the location Tuesdays. So we had 4 events in the past. This is the 5th one and more to come. So today we'll have an introduction for the workshop on the IoT platform for Watson and how to connect that with HERE technologies and the location intelligence. So let me introduce the esteemed speakers. So we have Asna Javad. She's the lead developer advocate from IBM. Hi, Asna. And we have Vidhan. He's our senior developer evangelist within HERE.
Hello.
And myself. So today we'll have a quick fly over the concept of the IoT and what's the IoT, jump to the hands-on, and then what's next. And if you have any questions during the sessions or after the sessions, please jump in. Kindly reminder, there is the survey button there. We really appreciate your feedback. So please, whenever you have any convenient time, just get us with the survey. So why we are here, simply it is the Internet of Things. It's the IoT. everyone is familiar with the concept of the IoT. A lot of applications happening with the Internet of Things and the major connectivity of the internet across the major cities and even the rural areas. So what we are doing on these sessions, this one and the coming ones, is how we can enable you with the right knowledge, with the IoT platform, with the location intelligence to unlock your future with this type of the industry use cases. So from telecos, from retail, from automotive, healthcare, it's a big major topic these days with the whole COVID situations. There is tons of use cases that you can use IoT and location intelligence out of it. Goes without saying, the whole contact tracing, we have it like in our devices and mobile devices. So the mobile phone or the smartphone is considered as an IoT with all the sensor data that we have. What we are doing is having this type of ecosystem with you, with IBM solutions, with HERE technologies, to get you what we call it like an IoT model. So ideally, we have a 7-layer of the IoT infrastructure or the IoT solution. Yeah, it has an end-to-end elements out of it. I will not drill into the details, but I need to focus into more of how we can get this into package. So from packaging perspective, if we have all the data coming from the sensors, from the cars, from the drone, from the smart building, from the PC, from the smartphone, whatever the data source is, these data, if we manage to process it on the IoT itself or on the unit itself, with help of cloud technology, we introduce the concept of fog computing. Yet, if we manage to get these data loaded immediately to the cloud, and then we do all the processing there, even the post-processing, so we have the cloud technology. On top of this, we develop or do post-analytics with the big data and the whole topic of the machine learning and the deep learning. And finally, we do the client applications or the people and process applications, which is mainly the business application that we are aiming for. On that scope, we will have the cloud, the big data, and the business applications as in focus. We'll not drill into the hardware or the fog computing, at least at this point of time. So this workshop will enlighten you with how we can have the cloud computing working seamlessly for the business applications. And again, it's powered with location technology. So what we are doing on these sessions is combining the human and machine learning capabilities from Watson with an IoT connectivity along with location intelligence. So in these stages, we'll be able to get the data in, do the filtration, the process, getting the location insight, and what's behind the data, what we are collecting. And finally, we can scale, distribute, and run multiple applications for it. So it goes without saying that the IoT is booming. Yeah, a lot of numbers we can hear, but the famous 50 billion device will be there by 2030. It's big, and it's still big, even with the COVID situations. This is like an IDC tech index. You can see clearly IoT and cloud, along with the security, for sure, is booming. And it will be there, and a lot of investment happening at that domain. With all the pressure of the economy, the technology is still uptaking. Asia is leading at this point of time. Europe is following, and the US will follow as well. So today we have an expert on the table. We have Asna from IBM. So Asna, can you please give us more insights on the IBM Watson Iot Platform?
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Yes, so before I begin, I just want to tell you that what Watson IoT Platform is. It is basically a cloud-hosted service which is fully managed with the capabilities for device registration, connectivity, your device control. You can do rapid visualization and data storage. So, what IBM Watson IoT platform helps you is to take the full advantage of cognitive Watson APIs. You can use visual dashboards. You can help with rich developer resources, and you can create a secure, accelerate enterprise IoT insights. Moving further, this is the general overview or architect how IBM Watson IoT platform works. It helps you to connect your devices. Mohammed, can you go back? I think
Yeah.
you went very sorry. Yeah. So what it does is it helps you connect your devices. It helps you with the management, like how to reboot your devices, how to factory restore them. Apart from that, it helps you to visualize the data that you receive from your IoT devices. It can help. It allows you to visualize that. It allows you to clean the data, take out the useful insights from it. And apart from that, it helps you with connecting your IoT devices and the data with the blockchain services, how you can create transparency. And then it is also a platform that connects your devices with some and the data with a third party application or any other solution that you have built, and you can use this service to create connect your devices with, and also different dashboards. Mohammed, can you move further?
Awesome. Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask us in the chat. We can stop, and if I'm going very quick, you can let us know that as well. So moving further, we're going to talk about some of the industry solutions. Right now, IBM is working with a number of companies in the industry. For example, in manufacturing industry, we're working with L'Oreal. We are also working with Sandberg. It's a mining company. We're going to talk about it in a little while. I all know about Whirlpool. It's pretty famous. IBM is working with them and helping them with the IoT platform. Also, IBM is working in the transportation industry, and some of the utilities like Onico and Lysi are using IBM's IoT platform to help them with the energy savings, and they're trying to integrate the IoT platform with their solutions, with their platforms to reduce the costs and make their solutions more effective. How can we move
Cool.
further? So, first of all, we're going to talk about a smarter way to move. We can see that wherever we look around, we have cars and we have vehicles and we have trucks and everything. So basically, our vehicles are a moving data center, and they have a lot of information, they have a lot of data. And what IBM Watson IoT platform and IBM is doing is they're teaming up with different vehicle industries, and they're creating solutions that can help with the vehicle, unlock the vehicle insights. And they say that the every vehicle has a story. So this is what they're doing. There are actually collaborating with a few of the companies. For example, one of the very famous, well-renowned company, um, Group Pama, is an insurance company which is using this solution to come up with new models for insurance models for the drivers, using the data insights regarding this. And apart from that, Golden State Food are actually using the Watson IoT platform and the blockchain to optimize the operations and the driver efficiencies, and they're cutting the unnecessary costs. They're making sure that their food reaches on time. It's not wasted, or they have more than 2,000 trucks, so they're finding the optimal routes. They're making sure that the delivery time is reduced using the Watson IoT platform. Mohammed, can
Nice.
you move further? Yes. And since that due to COVID-19, we were stuck at home for a while, and now that the businesses are reopening, yeah, so now that the businesses are reopening, Watson IoT is came up with a solution for enterprise asset management, where they're trying to make the workplace more safe for the workers and the employees. So what they're doing is they're basically monitoring them with the real life analytics, and they're making sure that the people are using face masks, they're maintaining the social distance, they're making sure that their temperature is being monitored, and they're making sure that they're not going in the no-go zones. So this is something that's very interesting, and I think IoT is actually helping us adopt the new normal norms. Mohammed, can you go further? Any questions so far, guys? I think I'm doing a pretty good job. So, moving further,
All
I'm just
clear.
gonna, yeah, that's what it looks like. So, going further, we're gonna talk about Sandvik. It's one of the companies. It's a mining, it's a mining industry basically, and they had a challenge of they were facing a challenge where their equipments were going in the breakdown, and their whole work would halt and won't continue for days. So what they did is they teamed up with IBM, and using the IBM IoT platform, they started assessing uh, their equipments and making sure that the whole breakdown is prevented or at least reduced. What they're doing is they're making sure to look at the analytics, and they're predicting the maintenance for their equipment. So hence what they did is they improved the productivity by 25 to 30%. Which is again a very great way. And apart from not just the productivity, they also made sure that their workers are safe, because if equipments they break down, it's also a loss of human lives as well. So this is what they did, which is again a great example and a way for you guys to think about how you can use IoT in your daily lives. So
So it is not only cost saving, as you mentioned, it's not only optimizing the productivity and increase it and scale it, but also it has an impact on our life and everyone life as such. It's not just like a luxury technology.
exactly. I mean, I would feel so safe knowing that I'm going to work and I know that, oh, today nothing is going to happen because
Yeah,
everything is being predicted and the equipments are up to date, nothing is going to break down. So I will also feel safe. So it is,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. It is making you know, an environment of safety as well for people to, work in peace.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was one of the use cases that I really wanted to share with you guys. Now that we're going to move on to the hands-on section, I want you to ask if anyone has any questions, or should we just, jump on and say what we're going to do today? Well, no
No
questions.
questions. No questions
No
yet, but
question.
that might change when you do the hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So, I just want to give you an overall idea what we're going to do today. We will be developing a system, you can say, where we're going to do is we're going to monitor a person's temperature, and we're going to guide them to the nearest hospital in case of emergency. So it's using the Watson IoT platform and the HERE location service. So what it's going to do is it's going to track your location, and then it will be sending you to the nearest hospital, and it will be showing you the routing instructions as well, that how you can reach to that place, and it will also be showing it on the map. So
Hmm.
for that, we would need you guys to have an IBM Cloud account and a HERE developer account. So here are the links. Mohammed, can you share the links in the chat as well for the
Yes,
audience to
yes.
sign up? Yeah, great. So we are going to wait for a couple of minutes so that you guys can sign up for IBM Cloud for those who don't have the cloud account yet. And also for you guys to sign up for HERE developer account.
So please use the links. We will share it right now.
So meanwhile, I can explain what IoT is, right? If you can show the slide,
Yes, sure.
right, we can talk about that. So a lot of people, first of all, hello everyone, I'm Vidhan, technical
Hey.
evangelist with HERE, and I'm based out of India. So let's talk about IoT. A lot of people has a lot of confusion when it comes to IoT. Like we always had machine to machine communication, right? We were always sending data from one machine to another. Excuse me. So what has changed? Why the need of IoT? What has changed in, say, 8 years that we had to develop a system which focuses on devices? So there's a lot of changes which is happening. We are basically in a evolutionary step, you can say that, when it comes to devices. Earlier, when we were talking about machine-to-machine communication, we were sending data directly, or we had a printer connecting to over Bluetooth to your server computer, sending data. But that data was a very simple one, and that too doing not much of a task apart from just completing what we have asked it to do, say, print something. Now, what has happened is during these years is that now we have understood the need of a smart or intelligent communication between different machines, different devices. For example, your coffee machine, let's make it smart. Why do you want your coffee machine to be smart? Because it should know that you're going to arrive home and you will be needing a sweet cup of coffee. So that is why, that is one of the examples. That is why we have the need of IoT. And with this came a lot of different things in making this happen. One of the things is we reinvented the protocol, which is called MQTT, which is always being there. It was invented in 1999, and we are starting to use it again. Instead of HTTP in IoT, we use a lot of MQTT and sometimes CoAP in other protocols. If you talk about the architecture, how it makes it smart, is that what we do is what we have in mundane things like our coffee machines or our TV or our refrigerator. We simply connect an IoT device, a device that makes it smart. How? That device collects the data. It could be the contextual data, environment data, data regarding to that particular machine. Then it sends this data over your Wi-Fi, over the internet, let's say to the gateway. If you don't have a gateway in between, it will send directly to the cloud. And on cloud, it collects the data and all the heavy processing is performed there. So cloud acts as a role of a bridge and a collecting agent, where you are sending the data, it is collecting it, storing it, aggregating it. And apart from that, it performs all sort of stuff on the data. The stuff that I'm talking about is data analytics or machine learning. And lastly, once you get the insight from that data, it sends it further to a user application where you as an end user can see how much your coffee is being prepared before you reach home from your office. So that is what IoT is all about.
Cool. So more details on the workshop.
Let's go to the us now, and let's see if everybody has signed up, and we can proceed with the hands-on.
Guys, if you have signed up for IBM Cloud and the HERE developer portal, please let us know in the chat so we can move further.
So we need this both accounts part of the hands-on. So we will have the GitHub link, the repo will be with you. Ideally, we will get the Python, your text editor, whatever the tool that you prefer. But we need both of the accounts because we need to trigger the Watson Iot platform, and also we need to trigger the APIs from HERE perspective. So still silence. Anyone managed to register or sign in at least?
Well, I hope they can hear us.
So guys, you still with us? Maybe the one sleeping or get some coffee with this smart machine. Okay. Thank you, Ahmed. All good.
Great.
Okay, cool.
And apart from that, if you are thinking what else is required, then you certainly require Python, guys. Okay, so make sure that you have Python installed on your machine.
Mm-hmm. So Sharif is mentioned that he managed to sign up, but he need to configure the editor. So what else we need with hand? So we need to get the Python.
Any editor will do, to be honest.
Okay. Any
but
preference?
I'm using Visual Studio Code.
Okay.
So there's no preference, but I'll suggest to use an editor which recognizes your HTML code also and your Python code, so that you can see it in a very beautiful way instead of a boring, dull way. Okay.
Cool. Okay. So I think we can continue. So let's continue if we need to explain the architecture for the connectivity between the sensor and the client application.
Okay, so let's do one thing. I'll explain the architecture. After that, Asna can show the Watson IoT. So what we are planning to do in the two-part series is we are planning to send the data from our IoT device, which is going to be either your laptop, because we have a Python code which will be acting as a uh, uh, something which will be sending data to the cloud, and that Python code I'll also show it on Raspberry Pi, so you can have Raspberry Pi as a IoT device. When you talk about IoT device, what we have is it has basically three parts. One, a computer, which is the computing unit, and that computing unit could be your microcontroller, which we call MCU. It could be SBC, which we call single board computer, like Raspberry Pi, and that is what we're going to use. And sensors depending on what data you are willing to collect. So for example, we are collecting temperature. So we are going to assume that we have temperature sensor. We are going to collect the location. And again, we are going to assume that we have a location sensor attached, although we will be creating a dummy data to reduce the complexity of the code. And after that, you will need one more entity in your IoT device, which is a must, is the communication. So for communication, when you're talking about tracking an asset, or when you're talking about any asset, what you want to do is you want to send the data which you have acquired from sensor to the cloud or to the other device or to the gateway. And for that, the communication entities or options that we have is you can use a SIM module, you can use eSIM, you can use any of the telecom-based module which can send the data over the SIM or using a SIM. Or if you are in home, you can use your Wi-Fi. Or if you want to have a communication in, say, 5 meter, 10 meter, or 30 meter range, you can have Bluetooth. Or if you're looking for non-internet communication over a long distance, then you can go for LPWAN, which is basically your LoRa, Sigfox, all those devices. What we are doing is we have an asset, and in our case, we will consider human as an asset. Asset could be anything, right? Anything that is of value to you or your business. We are going to attach that IoT device on that asset, and we are going to track it and send it to the cloud. And on the cloud, as I had told you, we can store the data, we can perform a lot of analytics on the data, we can do a lot of things, especially on IBM Cloud. So we are going to use one of the service of IBM Cloud, which is called Watson IoT. And we can also integrate here, but here technology there, but we are going to integrate here technology on the IoT device end. And after that, from there, in the next, you can say workshop, we are going to talk about cloud to user application interaction. That is what we're going to do in the next workshop.
Cool.
Now let's move to the hands-on with the Watson IoT, and after that I'll explain the MQTT protocol.
So let me stop sharing. Yeah, and then I get the screen from Vedhan.
I'll take the screen first.
Please, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna show you guys how to create the Watson IoT service on IBM Cloud. So let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, it's loading now.
So
dashboard.
Okay, so once you guys sign up for IBM Cloud and verify your email, your account, you'll be, directed to an IBM Cloud platform. This is the dashboard. It's pretty simple. You have to go to the catalog where all the services are registered. From catalog, select services, and you scroll down, go to Internet of Things. And the first service, that is Internet of Things platform, IBM, select that. So you guys can leave rest of the settings as default, but make sure that you select the free light plan. This is more than enough for you guys to explore your IoT platform and tweak with it. So all you have to do is just create it, and
Nice.
there you go. So that's your IoT service is created. Now you can go to launch, and then it will take you to the Internet of Things dashboard.
So these 3 steps, now we have the IoT platform ready.
Yes, that's it.
Awesome.
And if you see here, right now, I don't have any device. So what we have to do is we go to add a device. You can select your device type. I'm just going to write here as Raspberry for this. And I can give a device ID, whatever I feel like doing it. So I'm going to give it a simple ID, 1111.
We might want to check if everybody is up to the task. They're following.
Let me know, Vidhan, if they want me to, repeat any step. So I can show it again. I was on the dashboard. Right now, I don't have any devices. I went to top right, add a device, and then I just set it as Raspberry, and I'm going to give it an ID. The ID should be unique. So from other devices, you can add multiple devices here with different IDs. So this is my ID. All I have to do is click next. Now here is what you guys have to add from your devices: your serial number, model number, description, manufacturer, so on and so forth. For the time being, I'm going to leave it empty. I'm just going to click on next. And also you guys can work with the authentication token, but right now we're not going into that details. We're just leaving it as open. But if you guys do that, you're concerned about the security, you can definitely have an authentication token here. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go next, and that's it. I'm going to finish it up. Now, this is a very important thing here right now is this: your organization ID, device type, device ID, authentication method, and this, because you won't get these information again. So it is very important that when you're on this window, you copy all of this. You can either screenshot this or you can copy and save it somewhere, because you'll be needing this for your integration with your devices.
So for every device, we need to make sure that we have, or for every asset, we need to get sure this device credential locked or kept safely in some place.
And
Yes.
I'll suggest copy and paste, because we will be copying and pasting it again.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Copy and paste it somewhere so that you can, use it later on. So that's all from my side. You can see that my device is right here. It's disconnected right now, and now I'm gonna hand it over to Vidhan, and he's gonna show you how you can use this.
Awesome.
Any
Thank you.
questions so far?
Thank you,
guys?
Assam. Okay. I hope you all are able to see me.
Yes.
Now I'm going to share my screen. Just give me
Please.
a bit here. So what I'm going to explain to you, there are a few things that I'm going to talk about. One, the protocol that we're going to use. And let me pull up the slide for that. Now, whenever we talk about IoT, what we talk about is effective way of communicating over the internet. And since we have 50 billion of devices estimated going to communicate over the internet, what we want is that we don't have much of the data size. We want to reduce that data size. And that is what MQTT does, this protocol. So this is application layer protocol. We have an option. We can use HTTP protocol. That is our beloved protocol that we have been using a lot. But when it comes to IoT, what we prefer is MQTT protocol, because it has smaller data size and smaller data footprint. So you can send a lot of data without much of the concern about how much data you're sending or what is the data size. So that is one thing. Apart from that, when you talk about the architecture which we use in IoT, normally we work with client-server architecture on which our complete internet is almost based on. But for IoT, what we do is we prefer pub/sub architecture, which is your publish-subscribe architecture, which you are looking at your screen right now. In publish-subscribe architecture, we have three entities. One, a publisher. Two, a subscriber, which are basically your clients. and then a broker, which is basically your server. What we do here is publisher only publishes or sends data to your broker or cloud. And then you have subscribers. Subscriber only subscribes or asks for data from a cloud. And everything works on the basis of topic name. And that is what we are going to do in our code. We are going to see, or we are going to send data under a certain topic name. What does broker does? Unlike your server in client-server architecture, broker plays a very active role here. What it does is it takes the data, it forwards it to the subscriber without subscriber asking it repeatedly. And apart from that, you don't have to, as a client, as a publisher subscriber, you don't have to keep on poking server or a broker for connectivity. Your broker plays a very active role here. And when we are sending data, we don't call it data, we call it message. Instead of calling it data, we call it message. And the size of message is very small. And in this architecture, the protocol that we prefer is MQTT. So if you are building an application in client-server architecture for IoT, the protocol that you would like to work with is HTTP. And when you're talking about building an application or an ecosystem in IoT where you want to have a pub-server architecture, then the protocol that you will be working on is called MQTT protocol. So apart from that, you have other options like quality of service, where you can define how you want to send data. If you want acknowledgement, if you want double acknowledgement, that can be done with the help of QoS, which we have 1, 2, 3 values. Apart from that, like other servers, you can simply store the data, you can perform analytics, and say, for example, we are sending data to our MQTT broker. We call it MQTT broker on Watson IoT. Then we can call or add other services also, like data analytics or machine learning or visual recognition, all those services. Now let's move to the code. I would like you to have the link of the GitHub. Mohammed, can you share the link of GitHub where everybody can pull out the code?
Yes, it's already there.
First, what we're going to do is we are going to have a simple Python code. Okay, so what you would like to do is you would like to open the GitHub link and you would like to go to the .py file there, and you should copy that complete code and paste it in your text editor, whether it's Notepad++, Visual Studio, or whether it is your Notepad, it will also do. Now, what we do here, or what we are intending to do here, is we are going to send data from our device, or say your laptop, to IBM Cloud, and that to Watson IoT. And that will be done with the help of protocol called MQTT. So we are not using HTTP protocol, we are using MQTT protocol. So keep that in mind. So for doing that,
can you increase the font by 1, please? Just one time.
Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, I know this is kind of big for you, but it looks good. Thank you.
No, it's fine. Okay, so what you would want to do is first you need to import paho.mqtt.client as MQTT. So this is a library that you would want to have. And for that, you have to run a simple command first, which is pip install paho-mqtt. So this command is going to grab the paho-mqtt library from your PyPy, which is the repository that we have in Python, and is going to install this so that we can use this library. Now, this library is the basic library or mother library that we have for all our MQTT application, whether you talk about MQTT version 3.1 or the new version 5.0. First thing that you need to do is you need to first pip install paho-mqtt. That's something that you need to do. So run that command. And after that, we are importing Paho, which is basically what we are going to use for MQTT communication. Then just to have a lag of time, we are importing time sleep part or time module sleep part. And then to generate random values, we are importing uniform from random. We are going to generate uniform random values. And after that, you will also need to install Flask. That is again pip install Flask. You have to run simple command. Okay. And let's skip this part for now. Let's see how we are sending data to the IBM Cloud. Here I have provided a latitude, longitude, which are fixed values. And you can find your latitude, longitude values. What we need to do is you simply need to go to vigo.here.com and search for your place. Let me show you how to grab that. I'm going to go to go.here.com, and you can simply search for your place that you want, and you can simply double click on it and you can get the lat long. Let's say, for example, I want to grab place in Dubai. Anywhere in Dubai, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I have selected a location, and then I'll simply go to see more info, and here you can grab the latitude longitude. So that is the easiest way. If you want to see your latitude longitude or hospital nearby you can do that. After you have grabbed your latitude longitude value, or you can use mine, that's not an issue. After you have grabbed this, next what you need to do is you need to provide a bunch of values from Watson IoT. And the values that Asna told you to copy and paste, these are the values which we need. First, we need organization ID. So this is my organization ID. That is what I'm going to use.
So this is from the IBM IoT Cloud, from the Watson IoT Cloud.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So these are the values, organization ID. So you must have it with you. Then you have device type. You have to provide that. Then token. That is your authentication token. You'll have to provide. Now my values are not matching because those are different values, but these are the values that you have to provide. Then you have to provide the device ID. And I generated it in a serial way. You can do that. And so that it will be easy for us. So it's 10001.
So shall we ask the audience if they have any questions?
Yeah, sure.
Or they need to generate their own devices? So we have the sample code. We have already the sample code on the GitHub, right? So we shared the link. So these, I would assume these default values is already there with your account, but we need the audience to change it or to amend it. Yeah.
So these default values are not there. Just the reference of these values, they'll have to paste their own values.
So anyone has any?
Yeah, and they have to make sure that they save their credentials, the values, these values when they create when they add their device, because later on they can't find them. Yeah, it's a one-time thing. So it's
apart from that, while you're at it, what you need to do is you need to go to the security. And since we are making it quite simple, what they need to do is they need to make it open. Just a sec. They'll have to go to the security, and they'll have to go to the security tab in the vertical left menu, and they have to go to the connection security. The reason that we are going to do this is because we don't want to use, or we are not planning to use any certificate or any keys to have that communication. We are going to have an open communication. Right? We are not making it secured using TLS. Okay. So what we
this
are
is for simplicity. Yeah. This is the simplicity for the workshop. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
But if you're talking about production, then in that case you'll have to make it.
We have to.
Yeah. Security is one of the biggest concerns that we have in IoT right now.
And it will always be there for a while. So from the audience, do we have any issue, any challenge? Everything smooth? If we can hear your feedback.
So I'm going to keep on hold on this screen so that all of you can reach the screen, and then I'll show you how to change the connection security.
Yeah, I think Vidhan, you can show them if they're able to follow us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Next, you need to click this image of a pen, I suppose, and you will reach to a point where you have default rule, and here you have to click on security level, and you have to keep TLS optional. So we are keeping it optional. If you want to keep it,
so
that's good,
Vidhan,
but we are not going to do that.
Ahmed is asking us, he's saying that I can read the policies tab.
Hamid can't reach the policy tab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how
so
we
you
did
simply have to click on security on the left menu. Okay, I'm going to cancel this.
Over the left-hand side, the menu will open. You can click to the security tab. And
it will open policies.
You got it.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay.
And then the first option, connection security, is what you have to edit. So make sure that you are editing that. Apart from that, we don't need to do anything for now. Let me put this in perspective. Okay, you might not see these values because we don't require these values, so I'm deleting it. After you have provided these values, you'll see that we have a server, which is basically the endpoint or the location of our MQTT broker on Watson IoT or the IBM Cloud. And this location says what? Your organization ID plus this address. So that is your unique, or a unique broker is being created for you on the Watson IoT to which you are going to communicate, or all of your devices are going to communicate to and fro. And after that, we have a topic name, a bunch of topic name, to be precise, 3 topic names. One is temperature, other one is latitude, longitude. And latitude, longitude is what we have kept as hard-coded or static. We're not going to change it. And if you look at the topic name, you'll see a pattern here. It is being shown in a pattern where you give it a name like IoT-2, or you can give it any name, and then /, and then we have EVT, which stands for event. And event is basically, you can see that your topic name here, and under event we have given it a name as temperature. And once we have defined this name as a temperature, next we need to define is the format of the data that you want to send to the cloud. Now you can have a CSV format, you can have a simple text format, and here we are going to use JSON format because this is one of the best format for any type of communication, whether you want to do it with API or web services. Same thing we have followed for our different topic name, topic latitude, topic longitude. So these are the topic name which we are providing to our cloud. Our cloud is going to store all our data that we are going to send from our PC or our Raspberry Pi to the broker, and all this data. Yeah, your temperature sensor, your GPS sensor, all that data is going to be stored or being referred under this topic name that we want to see soon. And after that, we have to provide the authentication method, which is token auth. And you can also do an API key, but that is another story. After that, we have to define the client ID. Now, client ID is a unique mixture of your device ID, your organization ID, your device type, and your device ID. So these 3 things are uniquely mixed and put together with the hyphen to give you a client ID. So once you have done this, so once you have created everything, all the coding part, collected all these things, next what you need to do is you need to create an instance of your client using MQTT library that we have imported. So we have MQTT C, and that is what going to help us in publish the data or provide or first get connected and then later on publish or subscribe the data. So first thing that you need to do is you need to connect as a client, and we are passing the client ID that we have created. After that, we are going to authenticate. Of course, we need to authenticate to the broker or to the server, that is Watson IoT, and that is done while providing username and password. So these are basically your username and password, a unique username and password, which is your token method and token ID. And after that, we are simply asking or making it connect. And here we are providing the address of the server, the port number. Now this port number is 1883, which is open port in MQTT. In MQTT, we talk about 2 ports, 8883 and 1883. 8883 is if you want to have secure communication. So if we would have used TLS authentication or TLS over SSL, we would have used 8883, but we are not doing a secured communication. That is not ideal scenario, but for this example, we are doing an unsecured communication. And after that, we are simply giving a keep alive time of 60 seconds to keep the communication alive between your client and your broker, or your publisher and broker. After that,
and
let's skip this.
And ideally, we need to make sure the firewall is enabling this port, right? So that the port communication is open if you need to establish this connection from your device or from home Wi-Fi.
Apart from that, let's skip this function because we are not going to use it right now. Then we have a infinite loop, that is while equals to true, while true. And we are simply generating a random values between, so you can do, see, these are the values, you can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So I'm using Fahrenheit. So let's say that 96 and 101 is the values in between we are generating. And then with the help of MQTT object, we are publishing it. So publish is the method that we use to publish the data. We got connected to the cloud with all the names that we described above, organization ID, device ID, and all those things, once we are connected, that connection is going to be persistent, unlike your client-server architecture. And after that, once your connection is there, you can start dropping your messages or data with the help of publish command. And that is what we are doing here. Publish, and under what topic name you want to publish? Topic temp, which we have defined on at the top. This is where we have defined all these values.
So any questions so far? All clear? I would assume people are following they are just going through the code.
Let's move on.
Yeah, following.
After
Okay,
you have published, I am simply, or we are simply publishing what we are showing what we have published. So you can change the sleep time. So ideally, when you are sending data, right, when you're putting it in a loop or infinite loop, the time has to be according to your use case or your business logic. Right? So here I'm simply sending it and say after every 3 seconds, that will be good. And then we are kickstarting that loop. That's it. Now, I'm not going to talk about Flask right now, right? Because this will come after this. Okay. So once you have provided all the values, all you need to do is simply run this. Use terminal, you can go into the, or if you're using Notepad or Notepad++, you'll have to start terminal or command prompt. You have to go to that particular folder where you have created this Python file, and then you'll have to run this command, Python data underscore publish.py.
Quick question, why we need to get the MQTT loop? Question from the audience.
To keep it running forever, right? So you want to have this, or you want this MQTT object to be connected with your server. Like what happens is, if you talk about client-server architecture, after some time, if your client is inactive, your server throws it out.
In idle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's going to keep you in the loop. It's not going to throw you out that easily, okay? And it will keep on running this part. So that is important.
So that's like a simulation of connected device. Like a sensory data connected device, and it keeps sending the data infinitely, right?
So it keeps on your session, you can say that. It keeps on getting your object connected to your cloud, your device connected, keeps your device connected to cloud. Okay, so this is the data that we are sending. If you go back and click on devices, then you should be able to see something here. Okay. You'll see I have a bunch of devices, but the device that I'm sending data to is 4x01, and you can see it's connected. Click on the arrow, and it will drop down into a menu, and you have a bunch of information here. So I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in if we are able to see the data. Click on recent events, and here you have the data. Now you can see that data is being segregated on the basis of event. So your event is basically topic name, and all this data format is JSON, and we are continuously getting this data. Let me show you how it looks like when you are sending data from Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to stop this code because I'm going to use the same credentials for Raspberry Pi. So meanwhile, you can also try it out, and if you have any queries or if you get stuck anywhere, you can ask me. So I'm going to connect to my Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is lying somewhere in the house. I'm not sure why. So I'm going to increase the font first.
Yes, please.
Let's have 20. Let's make it bold. So we have tried this, and Mohammed says that it works. Okay. Let's click on session. So the IP address is, see, it's connected in my network. So I'm going to have a local IP. And SSH, we are using secure socket shell protocol, which always work on port number 22.
So Vidhan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahmed, go ahead.
No, just a quick question from Sharif. So he tried to use the editor, but apparently, or in the publishing element, but it is not happening for him. So if you can check the screen.
Yes.
Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, so Sheriff, what you need to do is you need to comment the, okay, do one thing, Sheriff. Simply comment this part of the code, especially this 2 lines, take me to hospital and break. Because right now we don't want to start the Flask, okay? So we are not starting the Flask right now. We are simply seeing if we are able to send the data to the cloud, okay? Comment this and execute your code again. So I'm going to paste these 2 lines in the chat, and these 2 lines is what you have to comment. Or I have already commented the break, but you can comment the other line also. So let me open this.
So
Okay,
we'll show now the Raspberry Pi, yeah, right? How
so,
it will connect to the same entity.
If you want to run it on Raspberry Pi, first you'll have to install Raspbian OS in a SD card, at least of 8 GB, then put that SD card into your Raspberry Pi, and then you have to configure your Raspberry Pi. That is another thing. And you'll have to enable SSH protocol and preferably VNC protocol also. So by default, the login ID is Pi and the password is Raspberry. Okay, so let me check Pi. Okay, it's PPERRY. Yeah, so now we are in. Right, so I'm going to go to a location where we basically have our file. So I've created a folder on the desktop called IBM. And inside that, I've created a file called data.py. Now this file contains the same code that I've shown you. So I'm going to open this. So any editor could work, right? But Nano is something that is working for me. So I'm using Nano editor. And this is the code, which you can see. And there's no difference in the code that I shared with you in Visual Studio Code, because the language is same, the code is going to be same. Only thing changing is the device. Instead of PC, we are using Raspberry Pi. And again, importing the same thing, same latitude, longitude, same values from the Watson IoT. Same way we have prepared the object of MQTT to connect to the server and to send the data. And here I have made it simpler, where instead of now, the only difference is Fahrenheit, we are sending data in Celsius. And we are publishing data on the one data we are publishing to make it simple, and we are publishing it at an interval. So I'm going to keep open this code in case anybody wants to see this. And after this, I'm going to run this and show you what we see on the cloud. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, you can ask me. And meanwhile, I can also explain a few of the things that if you are using Raspberry Pi, or instead of Raspberry Pi, what you can do is you can use any IoT device. You can use a microcontroller also. You can use like a microcontroller or any prototyping board like Arduino. You can use ESP series boards, which is by Expressive, right? And like Node MCU, you can use any of the board. You can use Texas Instruments microcontrollers. All you need to do in that is they don't support Python. Some of them support MicroPython, but that is not a good way of working on them. So in that scenario, you'll have to write a code in C++. So that is another thing. And we have library MQTT, which you can easily use in C++. So MQTT library is available for all the languages. Apart from that, you would want to connect your sensors. So ideally, I should have connected my GPS sensor to it and temperature sensor to it. GPS sensor, like you can go for any U-block sensor, UBLOX, or any Neo series sensor that we have for collecting the GPS. Or for temperature grabbing, you can go for LM35, which is quite small, quite cheap, and quite good. You can go for a DHT series, which comes with temperature and humidity sensors. You can use any of that. But here we have not connected anything. We have simply publishing the data on the go. Now I'm going to show you how it looks like, so how it runs. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to run the code. Also make sure that you have installed Flask, not Flask, but Power-MQTT here. So how it's going to look. Install. I already have installed, but in case if anybody is curious how to do it, then that is how we do it. Now run the code. And let's see. keep our finger crossed that it works. Okay, so it is publishing. Let's check. Okay, so you can see the data now. Oops, something went wrong. Okay, this is happening for the second time to me. Okay, I'll go click on go back again.
Just
simply refresh.
it,
Okay.
So we still have some questions about the token
Okay.
used on the code.
Okay, please. Okay, let me show you first how data is going to look like.
Okay.
We are getting data in Celsius now. Let me go back to the page and let's see the queries. Okay, so you still have device not connected. Then you might want to check the values that you're providing, especially the topic, especially the token actually. And all these values should match.
So the one that we copy on the first, we need to make sure it's already there.
So the token is basically the value which is never shown after you create a device. So you have to grab it, keep it safe, somewhere very safe, so that you can use it again and again. So I have kept this token in this page for I think 3 or 4 days. Okay, so this is something, if you have missed it, you'll have to create a device again, a new device. And token value is going to be this, once in a life cycle of device value.
Yeah, because it's for this security purposes. So you need to save your details, your information somewhere, because once you create your device, it doesn't show again. Again, as Bidhan mentioned, then you would have to create the device or add the device again.
Okay, so next part that we are going to talk about is Flask. So I'm going to uncomment the Flask, and you do the same if you have not uncommented it, especially the part where we have if condition. So this is a dummy code, right? So there are a lot of things which are missing, which should be there in a real code. For example, I'm simply breaking the loop when the condition is matched, right? So in a while loop, an infinite loop, we have an if condition. These are just an imaginary condition that if the temperature is more than 99.1 and less than 96.9, then we are printing need attention. And we are simply calling a function, which is take me to hospital, which is grabbing two values, latitude and longitude. Okay. And this is also breaking the loop. And once the loop is broken, next thing that it's going to do is it's going to start this. Let's start from this, right? It's going to run this app, Flask application, and Flask application is mentioned here. From Flask import Flask and render underscore template. Render underscore template is going to render your map, okay? Which is basically, it will render an HTML page where we can have CSS and JavaScript. So we will be working with HTML and JavaScript. And after that, if you talk about the function that we are calling, okay, I'm going to keep it slow now, okay, because there might be some lag. So I'm going to scroll it down a bit so that you can see the complete code at once. Let me change few things in the code. Now you can see the important parts here. So this function that we are calling is mentioned here. And this function is doing what? It is simply routing you to the basically your Flask application. And there's a function which basically returns you a template or renders a template. The template is Jinja template. Jinja 2 we call it, but you don't have to go deep into that for now. But it's fun to explore it. Do explore it. And after that, we are rendering a HTML page. And apart from that, we are passing latitude and longitude to our HTML page. So this is how you pass values from Python code to HTML using Flask. Okay. So I'm going to keep my screen here for a minute so that you can check and you can ask me queries. And after that, we are going to jump to the part where we are going to take, or we are going to move to the hospital or create a route to our hospital. And meanwhile, if you have any queries, you can ask me.
So we have some good news. So some of the audience managed to get the device connected. So we are in a good shape.
So I think in the complete code, the only tricky part is getting the right mixture of those values from Watson IoT. Apart from that, everything is simple copy and paste. And we'll have to grab one more value, which I'm going to show you how to grab it.
So just for the sake of the time, can we move to the Flask? Can we show the visual of the routing?
Let me explain the code, or let's see the, okay. So once you have uncommented this, all you need to do is you need to run this code, save this, run it again. And now you're going to read the data is coming. Luckily, we are not in range, or unluckily, we are not in range. And now once the data is in range, so it's going to say a warning and it's going to ask you to, or it will run this. Let's open this. So I have commented few of the parts, or I have not commented few of the parts. So what it is doing is, it is creating, so this is the location that I provided, lat long, and we have assigned icon to the location that we are providing as ours. Okay, it could be dynamic, it could be moving, you could be in a vehicle, you have say IoT device on your hand, or you can have IoT device on your body, and your body monitor system is monitoring something weird. It is going to trigger an event, and that event is going to ask you to go to the hospital which is nearby, and at that time this page is going to get open. So ideally it should open by itself, but for the demo purpose we are opening it to keep the code simple. And then you're going to see the values here. This is the navigation value, which is going to navigate from your place to that particular hospital. And at the end, we have the time taken. And this time is depending the real-time traffic. Now, in the code, what you would want to do is you would want to provide few values, which I have kept, or only one value, which is what we call JavaScript API Key. So if you scroll up in the code, you have a section called API Key. Now, this value is what we need to generate. And for that, you have to log in or sign up and then log in into your developer portal account of HERE or freemium account. So let me quickly go there. Let me quickly show it to you. Okay, so log in into it. And you have to sign up for the free account, right, which is freemium, and you get all those resources, all those things. So you don't have to worry about anything. 250,000 transactions per month is free, so you don't have to worry about anything, especially paying, because you are not providing your credit card details too. So you have to click on the project name. Once you do that, you will be guided to a credential page where we can generate a bunch of credentials for JavaScript, our REST API, and our mobile-based, you can see that SDKs. So you have to click on JavaScript, you have to click on Create API Key, and you have to simply copy this API key. Okay, copy this API key and paste it in the code where it says JS_API_key. That will be on the 20th or 21st line of code. So I'm going to hold it here for a few seconds, or say 10 seconds, and then I'll move to the coding part.
So this one is showing the visual of the route, yeah? So this is the element for the visual of the route, how to trigger the routing API, which is the nearest hospital from your location or from the sensor location.
That is what we are going to dive into now after this. How to do that. I hope everybody has grabbed this API key.
So all good from the audience? Anything missing?
Okay.
Did you manage to get the API key?
So everyone, all you need to do is you need to copy this code and paste it, and you need to provide only this value, and your code will be working perfectly. And you can change the lat long value according to your location. That is something that you can do, or you can go with my lat long, which I have provided. Now, this code starts with an HTML page, of course, where we have HTML tag, we have head. So HTML, we have head and body. In head, you can see a bunch of script tags, which is basically our HERE mapping library, right? So we are simply calling the APIs of HERE with the help of JavaScript library that we have created. So if you work with any mapping module of any company, this is how we basically do it, right? And all your things, as in whatever we are going to require in our further code, we are calling it from HERE, or we are going to create objects of a certain class. Everything is being done with the help of this. So you don't have to worry about anything. And we have a default CSS also. So if you're thinking about, okay, how this is going to look like, so this is going to handle that too, unless until you want to change it. But you won't want to change this. You can have your own CSS. Then after, in the body tag, we have two, you can say that division tag or containers. One container is going to contain our map that we want to show. Another container, which is going to show in red color the instructions for the routing. And then we are defining, or we are actually showing the logic, what is happening here. So in script, since we are working on JavaScript, so JavaScript is for anything that you want to interact, anything interactive that you want to do in your web page, you work on JavaScript. That's what we are doing here. So we are creating an object of platform, right? And we are providing an API key so that we are getting authenticated or connected to our account. The API key that we have created will help you out in that. After that, these two lines of code is basically we are passing the lat long value from the Flask application to our HTML code. So these two lines are used for that. After that, we are calling a default layer, which is a merge. It's kind of a base layer that we have. And on top of that, we create map and other views. So we are calling a default layer. We have created an object. We have instantiated it. After that, we are simply creating another variable of your location, which is taking latitude and longitude two values. Once you have got this, next thing you need to do in this part of code is basically you are creating an object of map and you are calling a map. So this is where you call a default map. So if I remove all the code which is beneath this, and if I only keep this, then what it's going to do? It's going to create a map and show it in the container, the div tag that we define. It's going to call a default layer and call a vector image of a normal map. Now you can change from normal to satellite, you can change from normal day to normal night, and so on and so forth. And then we are also passing two values. One, the zoom level. You can have 0 to 20 zoom level. 14 zoom level is quite near, and it's quite perfect for what we want to do. And after that, we are simply passing the location, our location, which we want to show on a map. So what it will do is it will show your map centralized at the lat long that we are passing from Flask at a particular zoom level, which is 14. So this is what this is going to do. And after that,
Can you show the map?
Sorry?
Like you can run this and show the and.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll have to comment a bunch of things here. Okay, I'm going to comment few of the things, not all. Scroll. That's a sec.
So just to let you know,
this code is available in the Git repo that Mohammed has already shared with you guys. So you can always download that and work with it.
Okay, so what I've done is I have not commented everything. So let me show you a few of the things, then I'll explain you. Right? Say for example, I comment this, and I comment this part also, and I'm letting the marker stay there, right? And since I've kept the debugging on, I'm going to refresh this, and what it's going to show you is marker of your home and hospitals at a zoom level 14, and that is your default map. Now, if I remove the remaining part of the markers, creating your own marker and marker for hospitals and discover API, then you're going to see this map container. That's it. And you cannot move it. You cannot slide it because I have commented few lines of code. Now, if you move to the code, if I uncomment this line of code, say, and if I refresh this, then you're going to see a change. You're going to see you have certain views here. So now we are adding a view of zooming in, zooming out,
and zooming out.
And yeah, and you can change the layer. You can change the view from map view, which is our default view, to satellite view. You can see a satellite image, right?
So just to, yeah, I think we have a fatty information coming from you, Vidhan. So just to give you a reminder, this is the first part of the workshop. So next Tuesday we'll continue the flow of the information. So we have a really good stuff happening there. We still have more about location services, the mapping, the routing. And I think Vidhan also will give us more insights on this. The next session, we'll get more insights from visualization as well from the IBM Cloud. So more information coming on part 2. I just need to give you some excitement. So if we can have right now some small activities with Menti, and we'll continue the next workshop for more details about the code. So you have it already on the GitHub. If you have any questions, please let us know. Even during the week, we'll be there and we'll be connected. We'll share our credential for the Twitter or any way that you can reach it out. So if I can ask Faiz to help us with the Menti.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
So Faiz, are you with us?
I think Upkar has to bring him on.
Yeah, I just invited him. It takes a couple of a minute or two.
No worries.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
So,
hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
All right.
Yes, we do.
So, yeah, I'll just share my screen.
Super excited.
All right. I get a message saying there's too many video sources, so I think one of us will have to.
Yes. So if you can go to menti.com with the room number 502963. So I think Faiz will share the screen right now.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
So we have 4 questions.
Yeah, the way this will work is you just have to use your phone or just any browser. It can also be on your laptop, but it's more convenient if you use your phone. And you just have to go to www.menti.com, and it'll ask you to enter the code, which is 502963. So if you do that, we have a short quiz that we're going to be running, and you can play along on your phone or whatever device you're connected on. So see, we have 2 people joined so far.
Come on, guys, join this. This is going to be so much fun.
All right, one more. Okay, I see people are still joining. So let me know whenever you'd like me to start the quiz.
Let's wait for 2 minutes. Let's see if anybody else joins.
So it's simple questions, nothing fancy. It's mainly about what we hear today during the session.
Don't be scared, guys. This is going to be fun.
More to come.
Okay, I see we got more people joining.
I mean, I wish I could join, but I already know the answers. So
I would have loved joining this. It looks amazing, actually. Quite interactive and fun.
well, I think we should start now, Faiz.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start. Oh, I see one more person joined right at the end. That's okay. So the first question is, what is the full form of SBC? And the options are single big computer, single bit calculator, single board computer, or none of the above. Oh, okay. So I see the majority got it right, which is a single board computer, like a Raspberry Pi.
And just reminder about the timing. Be cautious about the timing. It affects the score.
Yes, exactly. If you answer, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. And I think you have a total of 10 seconds to answer the questions. Cool. All right. Moving on to the next question. Oops. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, yes, there we go. All right. So the next question. Okay, so let's take a look at the leaderboard first. And we see Sharif is leading, followed by Vote Goat and Pizza Pizza.
Awesome.
Well, I'm rooting for pizza.
So that's from the last session. We have a hungry man from last session.
All right, the next question is, which API did we use for reaching to a hospital? Was it routing, geocoding and search, traffic, or other?
So technically, coding-wise, we didn't reach there, but you have the hint.
Okay. Oh, okay. Everyone got it right. Everyone that answered, at least.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. And
oh, Pizza Pizza is jumping in.
Yay, pizza wins today.
All right, moving on to the
very good as well. So it's a tough computation.
Which service are we using of IBM Cloud? Was it?
That's very hard question.
Was it the IBM blockchain platform, Watson IoT, or visual recognition?
I wonder.
All right. Okay. So I think Sharif is still
leading. Yes.
Oh.
Nice. All right. So I think we have one more question.
Sharif is
what
so
is
excited.
the role of cloud in IoT? Is it data storage, data analytics, data aggregator, or all of the above? Oh, that was faster than I expected. But yeah, so it's all of them. I mean, you could use the cloud for many different reasons in an IoT application. So let's take a look at
the winner is
drum rolls.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, Pizza Pizza is almost there, but
ooh, very close. But Sharif won, so congratulations.
Wow,
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Well done, man.
All right. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and you guys can go back to the presentation.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
So thank you for the people who joined the Minty. Is really interactive activity. It's like just refreshing, yeah, a bit of engagement that we are looking for. So what's next? I think we know that the location question that we need to answer is there. We had the session today. This is the part one for the IoT activities. We had 4 before, and more to come on the next few weeks. So every Tuesday we'll have the session. This is the location Tuesday, as part of the series of the developer webinars. Please make sure that to see the last recording. So every session we have a lot of people joining to practice, to see the updates, to be educated more about a lot of solutions from IBM and also from location from HERE technologies. So please join us on the last sessions. And before going any place, the survey. So please scan the code. We have the survey link immediately on the Crowdcast. So please, we need you to hear your feedback. And that's the Twitter handler. If you have any questions, if you can reach out to us quickly, easily, even with Crowdcast platform as well. So thank you very much for your time. And Abkar, please.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And special thanks to our speakers, Asna, Mohammed Adan. You did a wonderful job as always. And I personally look forward to the next session and dive a little bit more into the coding aspect. So thank you very much again. The email will go. Yeah, thank you. So the follow-up email will go out shortly, and you'll have all of the links the speakers shared today. So we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
Stay safe, stay hydrated, and see you next week.